Well, here it is, everybody. My homemade pipe positioner that has used this old drill, but unfortunately it spins it way too fast. Even at the slowest setting, couldn't possibly weld at that speed. So we're going to change it up, put some new pieces on it. All right, so took off the drill that I had on there. We're going to figure out a way to fit this gear motor on there. This thing only is supposed to turn about 7 RPMs. So I think total we can get this thing to turn as slow as we want it to go. So excited about that. So here's the first problem. We have a keyed shaft on this one, and this one had a D-shaped shaft on it. So we have to do a little modification of the sprocket, because that's the sprocket I got off of an old Razor scooter. Kind of the same sprocket gear setup there. Just so you know, a little backstory, this is leftover parts from that. And that's an old wheel bearing from I'm not even sure what car it's from. Just an old wheel bearing. A little work with a Dremel and a little bit of a grinder, put a little step in it. A little bit of action there. We got ourselves a sprocket that fits. Okay, everybody, we have our perimeters laid out here for our mount piece for our little motor there. So we've got our center line right here. We've got our outer perimeter from where our motor's going to lay, and this is just a rough cut of what's going to be there. We'll probably trim this a little bit, make it a little prettier on the edges or something. We'll figure that out later. But for right now, we got to figure out what we're measuring here and what we're going to cut out for a hole here in the center. As you can see here, this little stand that this shaft comes out of is about 1 1/8 inches wide. If you can kind of see that, a little hard to see there. I'm going to make it 1 1/4 inch hole to give me some clearance. That way we get plenty of meat for these studs to hang on to the plate with. And then we're going to measure up, excuse me, this way. So 1 1/4 inch starts 3/16 from the bottom. So if we come up 3/16 from here up and drill an 1 1/4 inch hole from the center of that 1 1/4 inch hole, that way we have a 3/16 clearance right here. That should give us the perfect little recess to put that in. So we got to figure this out here, so we're just going to write it down. So we've got 1 7/16 from the bottom of the plate to the top of the hole. So we want to cut that in half. So we add 16 to 7, so we've got 23 over 16, cut 23 in half. That's going to be 11.5 over 16. So 11/16, maybe a hair over 11/16 is going to make it to where we have our center line for our shaft, which should also be our center for our 1 1/4 inch hole we're going to put here. All right, got our lines all marked out where we're going to drill our holes for our outside as well. Going actually referencing the innermost one, that one, that innermost one right there. And then that is going to be our center for our 1 1/4 inch hole. See you tomorrow.